Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today is the third video in my recap of the year 2025, where I show my 5 favorite projects. So this project was in the ABC challenge. I believe it was maybe August ABC challenge. This was Q, quick envelope, and it is an envelope that folds and hooks onto itself, made by 12 by 12 pieces of paper. And I will link the video below to see how to do that. But I thought, if you do 12 by 12, can you do an 8 by 8? And sure enough, you can do 8 by 8. I used 2 of my, I'm going to show my third one, my digital, the December winter digital that I have up on Patreon and available on Ko-Fi. And I used 2 of these sheets. I'm going to show you on a third one. But they make cute little envelopes. So the 12 by 12 ends up being 6 by 4.5 about, and the 8 by 8 ends up being about 4.5 by 3, give or take a little bit. But they're very cute. I like them. In the main video, because I did have to rewatch this one to see how to fold it. And in the main video, I said to use thinner scrapbook paper. Don't use thicker stuff. And this was probably as thick as I wanted to use it on. It's, I think, 28-pound white paper that I print these digitals on. So without further ado, let me show you what I did. All right, so we're going to take this one. You do want a non-directional one. This one, if you go through, it was a window, and it had a cup of cocoa, but even though you really can't tell what it is once it's all folded, it just looks like slats of wood, so I thought it was going to be okay. And this one was, you saw the words, so they do end up in a direction, but things can't end up upside down, as you can see. Get in there. This letter is upside down, that's forward. There's different directions on it, so you want to be weary of stuff that can go upside down. So if you got people or animals or something, it could be odd. All right, so I took my regular digital that ends up being 8.5 by 11, and I trimmed the white edges off. Now, the easiest way to do this, since when you trim the white edges off, it doesn't become 8 by 8. It's a little bit more. It's like 8 1/8 plus a scotch. It depends on how much white you have to cut off. So if you have true 8 by 8 pieces of paper, you can use that. But if you've got a digital, I find the best way to do it is to take whatever corner you want to use, and I was going to use the lighter corner, and you fold it up so that it is equal, so it looks like that. And then you go ahead and cut that off, because then you know you have the full sheet, whatever it ends up being. So I'm going to cut this off, and we got a lovely piece to keep, and there we go. So I'm going to open it up just to show you what I'm talking about. So this is, yeah, see, there would be 8, the dark line, so it's not the dots, probably hard to see, the dots are the quarter, so it's like right before a quarter. So it would be kind of weird to try to cut that and actually measure it, but if you want to, you can. But I find this is the easiest way to do it. You know, you have one split in half. So, all right, so the next thing you do is you do need, well, you don't really need it, but it's very helpful to have a scoreboard. All right, so the first score we're going to do to get the flaps to go into the sides is we are going to score at 3.5. And we're going to put the corner up there, and we're going to do 3.5. Like I said, I'm going to link the video for the bigger one. I forget what the marks are for that. It's like, I think 5 inches or something like that, only because it's bigger. But it'd be in that video if you want to make the 12 by 12s. 3.5. Now, if you really wanted to be ambitious or daring, you could just take these and fold them in and try to get them as even as you want and fold them down. But I like them, I like to score them. Now, when you score it the 3.5, it ends up not meeting in the center. As you can see, it's way farther out. But it makes a little bit bigger envelope. I believe, if I recall correctly, when you're doing the bigger 12 by 12, the measurement I gave makes them meet. so they're folded in a little farther. But since this was a smaller envelope, I thought that that was just fine for that. Okay, so once you got that taken care of and nice and bone folded down, you're going to measure from the point down to do the flap over, and that is 2 3/4. Now you're going to go inside of this line, so I find it better to score from this side, because otherwise you're jumping over this and over that, and I find it's easier to do it from this side. So you got the corner on the side, and you're going to do 2 3/4. And we're going to do a nice good thing. Okay. I'm sure it's hard to see, but there is a line there for that. Now what you need to do is you need to open it up, and you need to get rid of the corner here. And little scissors. There we are. You don't have to necessarily get rid of it, but this leads to a bit of a bulk that you don't need when you're folding it down. So we're going to get rid of. Sometimes it's hard to see when you have a print, and I can see a little bit better on this side. Okay. All right. I think the bone folder is done, or not, the scoreboard is done, but we will see. Okay. So this is going to go down there. So you can see the part that we cut out, it just gets rid of that bulk for that. Okay, so how do we close it? Well, you take whichever one you want to have on top, and we're going to make this little triangle thing. So if I want the blue on top, I can do that. If I want the red on top, I can do that. I think I'm going to do the blue. One more inch here. Okay, so this is not the trickiest part, but it is a little bit more fiddly part. So you're going to take this corner, you're going to open it up with your finger, and you're going to push it up and over, and you're going to line it up so it makes its own little triangle, diamond, square, as much as you want to be diamonding. There we go. So we're going to score that down, make sure it is nice and flush. And this is where this top ends up going, and you have a self-contained, once I glue that piece down, you have a self-contained envelope like this. Super cute. You can tell I measured it a couple times to do this one because I had to create the new lines, but super cute, right? Like I said, if I wanted to do, I can change this now that I see that that's white up there. Make this red side. I'm going to open this up, get my fingers in there. There we go. I'm going to open this up, and we're going to fold this side up. And make a triangle. Pretty much is even with the top of that, if you want to use a guide for it. And this side is folded in. All right, and then that's going to fold into there and make a cover. Cute. Okay, so for gluing, we are going to glue, I'm just going to glue, we're going to glue the top flap down. And you can glue the whole thing you want. You can just glue the, oops, right off the edge. You can glue the edge. Now once this is folded and done, you might have to go back and trim a little bit off, because sometimes when it gets folded, it gets a little bit off whack, or maybe ink it, something like that. Okay, so for these, so for the side flap that we have not done the triangle, we are going to go in there, and we are going to glue the edge. All right, now for this one, we are going to, we don't want to glue the whole edge down because I don't want to close this lip down. So I'm going to just glue from where this lip starts right here. Now you can do it from this side better. Where this fold is to the top. So we're just going to glue that. Because we want that to stay open. Okay, all right, so now we just need to glue this down. So for this flap, it's going to go first. We're going to glue the bottom because you don't want the envelope to be open. And then for this, we're going to glue the bottom, and we're just going to glue up to the corner so that that is sealed. Again, leaving that part open. Now, if you want to, you can take and put a little glue on this flap so that stays down. I don't think I glued that down. Yeah, I didn't glue it on this one. That just helps that stay down for the entrance of the top to be able to stay a little bit flatter. I think I did it on the other one. Yeah, I did it on that one. Okay. Now the other thing I did on the big one is I did round the top. So if you wanted to round the top, just to make it a little bit more envelope wise, you can do that. And again, you want to ink it just to get rid of that little bit of white that's showing. You can do it beforehand, you can do it after. It's a little harder to do beforehand on these inside parts, so if you really want to do it, I would do it before you glue everything down. And we'll tuck that in, and we have a lovely little envelope that can go into a pocket. You could actually, if you really wanted to, glue this down, make it into its own little tucker pocket, and then be able to stick some stuff in there, but it makes it nice, and it's hard to do that with the phone folder in your hand. There we go. Cute, right? And so simple. And like I said, it was the Q video for the ABC challenge. Nice and quick. They really are quick to make. Once you get the coordinates down, a couple folds, couple glues, and you have easy envelopes. Okay, well that was nice and quick. Again, so now you can use your 11.5, 8.5 by 11s, or your 8 by 8 paper pads, as well as if you check out the video, you can make it out of 12 by 12 paper. But I'm guessing any sort of paper that is square will work. 10 by 10, you'd have to figure out the dimensions to score those to go in. I don't know if I would go down 6 by 6. That might be just a bit tinier for that, but I'm sure it would be possible, especially if you had thin enough paper. Okay, well that's going to be it for me today. I appreciate each and every one of you that stopped by. Don't forget to check out the Patreon channel where these digitals are available if you want to join up, or on Ko-Fi to check them out, as well as the freebies on both sites. Okay, that's it for me. Thanks so much for stopping by, and as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.